It's Monday, May 23rd, and you're listening to the Geek News Central podcast, sponsored by GoDaddy.com. Geek News Central is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. Everyone, I got a great show lined up for you, and I tell you, it's great to be back in Honolulu. Absolutely beautiful weather. The trades are blowing. It's just typical Hawaii weather, and can't say that about the rest of the country. We'll talk about that here in a few moments. But you know what comes next. Strap in. Here it comes.
All right, people, I need a go, no-go for the Geek News Central podcast. Digital archive recorders.
We're go fly.
Microphone.
We're go fly.
Video feed.
Go.
Web browser.
Go.
RSS data stream aggregator.
Go fly.
Interflux Toddism suppressor.
All right, I'm confused.
Host readiness check.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
The Geek News Central podcast is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go. Cue Todd in
5,
Who's got the button?
4,
There is no cause for alarm.
3,
Everybody hold on to something.
2,
Just press the button.
1.
Aloha and welcome to the Geek News Central podcast. My name is Todd Cochran, and of course, we're coming as to you live as it can be from the beautiful state of Hawaii via the Geek News Central studio overlooking Greater Honolulu. Hey, everyone, welcome to the show, and it's great to be back here in Honolulu. I want to give a warm welcome to the Hana, all of you that are longtime listeners of the show. Thanks for staying subscribed and being subscribed, and telling other people to subscribe as well. And if you're new to the show, hey, welcome to the family. Of course, here in Hawaii, Ohana is synonymous with really family, being tight and close. And so I hope that you'll kick back and listen to the show. And whatever you may be doing, if you're watching, I hope that you'll get comfortable and settle in. I got some great tech to talk to you tonight about. Lots of stuff to go through. And back here in the studio, it's wonderful to be back in Hawaii. But of course, I want to welcome our listeners from 182 countries worldwide. I want to welcome them to the show. Thanks for tuning in, of course. And if you're new, hey, the best way to stay abreast of what's going on with the show is to get signed up for the newsletter. The newsletter is really the place where I'll put all the content that I'm talking about tonight. And it'll basically be emailed to you immediately following the show. So that way, when you wake up in the morning or you check your email, you're going to have that newsletter in your inbox. It'll have all the links and all the commentary, high points from the show. And we want to encourage you, of course, to get signed up for the newsletter. You'll find a link to that at geeknewscentral.com, along with all our other great content. Of course, you'll see the variety of different podcast shows that are here at GNC. We've got The Gadget Professor that comes to you every Thursday. We've got Robot Underpants that is released every Monday. And, of course, my show here is released Tuesdays and Fridays is when it comes out. And, of course, we have the Saturday morning tech show as well that is put together when I'm in Hawaii. So plan on having a Saturday morning tech for you at the end of the week. We'll hope that you'll put away a number of hours to watch, listen to the variety of content here on the website. And, of course, come over to the website every day. We've got a great bevy of writers putting together a lot of great tech articles, stuff that's kind of, we don't try to follow everyone else. We write kind of what we want to write about, and it's you're not going to follow us chasing the news story, and sometimes we'll come in with something that's very, very relevant during the day. But generally, all of our articles are self-written. It's about product reviews and so forth. So definitely come over to the website at geeknewscentral.com on a daily basis and get get a tech fix for all of our great writers over there. We're paying them a lot of I'm paying them the significant amount of money each month to bring great content to you. And they're as close to being part of the family here as the rest of you as well. And they work really hard, and I definitely appreciate it. So what else is going on here? Hey, if you subscribe to the show, that way you'll get the show immediately following its release. You can either do that via iTunes, Zune Marketplace. You can sign up via your favorite podcatcher, and we're basically listed everywhere, so you won't have a problem finding the shows here. And of course, you'll want to, if you have a Roku or Boxy, you want to watch us, and if you want to watch, do that in the comfort of your lazy boy. And I actually had an email from someone that said, Todd, where do I find you on the Roku, or where do I find you on the Boxy? All you got to do is load the Tech Podcast channel and look under Tech News, and you'll find the GNC logos, all our family of show logos there, and just go ahead and click in, and you'll get the content. The video for the show follows about 6 hours after the audio is put out. So if you're a little bit more patient, you'll be able to watch the video instead of the audio. And that audience continues to explode week by week. And of course, you can always come to the website and watch the content there or listen to it as well. So that's always a surefire way of getting the content. Of course, we want you to send feedback to the show. If you have comments on today's show, you can email me, geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com. Of course, the voicemail hotline is open 24 hours a day. And let's see if I can find the right. Yeah, there we go. 619-342-7365. 619-342-7365. And of course, we want to thank all of our sponsors here at the show. And I want to thank GoDaddy for being a longtime sponsor here. And I tell you, I got something really cool this month. This is a 1-month only deal, folks. And I'm going to have this link up in the show notes for you tonight. You can go and check this out. But you're going to get GoDaddy Deluxe hosting for economy pricing. I'll have the link up to this article that talks all about this particular hosting plan. And you can use my promo code over on their website. It's Geek ECO, Geek ECO is the actual promo code. But if you just go ahead and click on the check out their new 4th generation hosting in this web article that I'll link up in the show notes tonight, it'll take you over to the GoDaddy website, and you will find right up here on top, it says special offers. Deluxe hosting for the price of economy on plans 12 months or longer. And the best part is here, you're going to get deluxe hosting at economy pricing at checkout. So if you do a 12-month plan, that 12-month plan with the economy price is $4.74, which really boils down to, just a little bit under $5, almost $60, a little under $60 for a year's worth of deluxe 4GH hosting. This is cloud computing at its best. You're basically in the cloud on these new servers, and they scale real well. And you get 150 gigs of web space. You get unlimited website and bandwidth. So in other words, you can host as many domains as you want to on there. 25 MySQL accounts, up to 1 gig each. You get $100 in Google ad credits, so you can actually spend that over at Google AdSense to drive people to your website. You get $50 for Bing and Yahoo ad credits and $50 in Facebook. So you're getting $200 in credits, and you're paying $60. All right. So it's you're making money, and it's a great way to launch your website over at GoDaddy.com. GoDaddy's been a long-time sponsor here. And, of course, you can get great GoDaddy hosting and domains and what other products you may be looking for. And if you don't pick up the hosting account and you need a special code, all you got to do is go over to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy, and all my codes are listed there. Geek5, Todd20, Todd, ComSale, ComSale2, Geek Central, Aloha, Geek SSL12. So a variety of different savings there at GoDaddy. And Geek5 will save you 15% on orders $20 or more. Todd will save you 10% on non-domain orders. ComSale will get you $7.99 on .com names. It works only for renewals. ComSale 2 works on new .com names. Renewals at $7.49. You get $5 off on orders $30 or more using code GEEK. Again, just a pile of codes here at GoDaddy. And, of course, we want to thank GoDaddy for being a longtime sponsor here at Geek News Central. Hey, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what's going on in the in the world. Oh my goodness, hearts go out to just the thousands of victims of Mother Nature that has been occurring over the past. Boy, it's been like a month of just nonstop. So we had all the folks in Georgia get really whacked by those lines of storms that went through a couple weeks ago. And then you have the flooding that's going on all the way up and down the Mississippi, and people being driven out of their homes and 25 feet of water in some places, in their house is just completely covered up. And then last night and tonight, the storms going through from Texas really to Michigan. And, of course, the tragedy with the massive loss of life in Joplin, Missouri. And, my wife and I were eating breakfast this morning, and we were just like, what is going on? It's just like boom, 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 boom. It's one thing after the other. And, it really makes you sit back and, it seems like it started with the tsunami in Japan, the earthquake and tsunami in Japan. And it just on and on and on and on. And all this tragedy and massive loss of life. And your heart has to go, just absolutely go out to these people. My grandparents lost their home in 1964. They suffered through the tornadoes of Palm Sunday, which was really notorious during that time because a lot of people were killed in those line of storms. As a matter of fact, my best friend's father lost his arm in that storm, and it was unbelievable. It really was the tragedies that have happened because of tornadoes and everything else. And I just can't imagine. I can't imagine walking up to my house and seeing it just simply destroyed. And if you're alive, you're thankful for that. But then I just can't imagine. I just can't. It's just like a house fire. It's worse, really, because in a house fires, one home is affected, and then usually you get pretty good support and insurance and all that stuff. But this will never be right. These folks will be years and years and years before they're able to recover mentally and financially. So our hearts go out to them, and I'm sure everyone else, his thoughts and prayers are with them folks as well. So, boy, oh boy, we just hope we get this behind us. I really, really do. Well, let me go ahead and move on topics here. Hey, I had a good trip home. Got in. Everything's good. It seems like it's party central right now with graduation parties. We had an auntie that here that retired, had to go to her party. It's like it's just boom, 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 and it's like my wife is like laying the schedule out for him. I'm like, honey, I got to work. And she's giving me the look like, no, we got to go to these events. And of course, I'm still in class. I've got 2 weeks left. Yahoo! And I'm actually supposed to walk on June 18th, but I'm thinking I'm actually going to be on a trip. So I guess I'll have my nice big diploma from the university FedEx to me or something. But anyway, I was kind of looking at the calendar and I'm like, I got a trip here and then a trip here, and I'm not going to come home that weekend, and that's the weekend I'm supposed to walk. That I've already paid for graduation, cap and gown, and the whole 9 yards, and not going to happen. I'm just going to have to have that delivered via FedEx because paying the bills and keeping the family fed comes first. It really does. Hey, I want you guys to give me some feedback on Robot Underpants. Love Langley. It's a little edgy, and Langley's doing his best to keep it PG-13, and definitely a different form of content. It's cool, and I like his last show the best so far. It's basically the innuendos and the raised eyebrows and the kind of the quirky stuff that's going on in San Francisco. But definitely check Robot Underpants out. You'll find a link to it at Geek News Central. Of course, last week's Gadget Professor was fantastic as well. I don't know what's going to be happening with Don this week, whether or not there's going to be a Gadget Professor. As I said, there's in a previous show, without going into any details, he's got a significant family emergency right now. But irregardless, the Gadget Professor will be back with us whenever he can, and if he can put one out Thursday, he will. But we're not holding to any type of a deadline. I have gotten a couple of emails from people that want to be additional hosts and put additional shows together here at GNC, so we're going to be reaching out to them this week. I've got some folks that have emailed me a couple of times. I need to get back to them, so that's going to happen. As well as we're going to be introducing a new advertiser to the show at the end of the month. I think you guys are going to like it. And it's an advertiser that one of our new sales rep at Raw Voice was able to secure. And we've got a 6-week campaign with them to do more or less a kind of a test campaign and to see how your guys' reaction to their product is. And I'm hoping that you guys will stand up and support like you always do. We definitely appreciate it. But speaking of sponsors, let's take care of one last piece of business here before we get into the full-blown tech. I got just a huge stack for you tonight. You know, going to a meeting, you get called, you got to drive somewhere, you got to meet with someone, you got to fly someplace, you have to, uh, it's always you got to get there on time. You're afraid you're going to be too early. There's all these things that go on with, meetings. And quite honestly, most meetings just are like these huge time drainers. You lose half a day going somewhere, especially if you've got business within your town. I'm going to tell you, stop all that. Save money with these gas prices and everything that's going on, and use GoToMeeting. GoToMeeting is better. It's the best way to hold an online meeting. I highly recommend using GoToMeeting by Citrix. It's the easiest and most reliable meeting service available. It's really, it makes our meetings more cost efficient, time efficient, the whole 9 yards. And it's all about making money these days, folks, and saving that dollar so that you can either give a raise to an employee or add some benefits, or if nothing else, add a little more profitability to your company is really, really important. And having worked in a virtual company now since 2005, and having built Raw Voice virtually with our team spread across the entire United States, we know how to do virtual meetings, and we would not be able as an organization to survive without GoToMeeting. So I want you guys to get a free 30-day trial. You go to GoToMeeting.com. Click the Try It Free button, the orange Try It Free button. Enter your info in there, and then, of course, use the promo code podcast. Now, if you are actually on the website, all you got to do is click the banner, and it's going to take you over to a website that looks just like this. We'll get credit for your trial there as well. Fill that out. And I think it's kind of cool. They put up a new graphic on the website, and they have the ability to change that out on the fly. And I love the message. It says, simple online collaboration. Try it free. Citrix by GoToMeeting by Citrix. Again, get a free 30-day trial. GoToMeeting.com. Try the actual try free button. Gosh, and use the promo code podcast. I'm looking at three things going on here while trying to do the ad at the same time. But thanks for Citrix for being a great sponsor here, and we hope that you will give that product a trial. Hey, let's go ahead and get into the content tonight. Got a lot of stuff here in the stack for you. And let me close a couple of windows down and bring Chrome up into the forefront here, and bring it down on this first article that we've got lined up for you. And let me go ahead and switch this out so we're back over there. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Geek News as well. There's a good article over on Uber Gizmo that talks about mobile workers. And I really consider myself a mobile worker. Whether I'm traveling, whether I'm here at the house, whether I'm hanging out by the beach downtown with my computer, I'm really tied to my business, and I'm really tied to doing the work that I need to get done. But apparently, mobile workers are working a lot longer hours than traditional in-office staff. Mobile workers sleep where their smartphones are. 16% of you have your smartphone in the bedroom. 28% of you place it elsewhere, which is surprising, but 44% of you have it within reach. And even scarier here, here's some interesting statistics that should make us all kind of sit up a little bit. Younger workers keep it in the bedroom. 77% keep smartphone in the bedroom that are aged 22 to 34. Those are 35 to 44. 60% keep it in the bedroom. Those are 55 to 64. Keep it, 45% keep it in the bedroom. And 48% that are 45 to 54 keep it in the bedroom, keep their phone right in, their smartphone or tablet in the bedroom. Now, here's the weird thing. You guys know that I do not, I live online. But at the same point, I don't, I leave my phone here in the office, and I don't take my smartphone to bed with me. I'm on it I'm here online 18 hours out of the day anyway. So, I guess I would deserve my 4 to 5 hours of peace away from the thing. But 39% of mobile workers wake up at night to check their phone. 58% wake to check, wake, let's see here. What does this say? Mobile devices keeping up at night. 39% of mobile workers wake at night to check the smartphone, 8% every night. And then it says 58%, they have it within reach. So if it's right next to you, check it. 58% of you check it at night without having to get out of bed. 47% are thinking about work like in the middle of the night, which is weird. And most of us fall out of bed and check email immediately. That's the first thing they do before even going to the bathroom and grabbing the toothbrush and at least starting to get freshened up. But that's, to me, I'm probably guilty of that as well. But we are living by our devices, and employers love it. Average mobile workers work an average of 240 hours more per year than the regular workforce. So that's 6 weeks additional worth of work that your employer is getting for free, because you're living your life online and you're answering mail and responding to the boss's inquiries and so forth. So is it worth it? Is it worth, you think about that. Most of us don't get anywhere near 6 weeks worth of vacation every year. But if an average worker is getting 240 hours, or they're putting in 240 more hours per year, that's a big, big number. So I guess the question I have for all of you from this show is, do you sleep with your smartphone? Are you checking it in the middle of the night? Have you banished your smartphone from the bedroom? Or can you not live without it? Are you getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning? Are you waking up and checking the phone? My challenge is living in Hawaii is at 6 a.m. It's already noon in New York. So I very rarely make it really beyond about 5 a.m. before my phone starts buzzing with either text messages, or very rarely. And usually if I'm up even a little earlier than when I normally wake up, I'll hear it here in the office ring. Someone will try to call me. I'll just let it go to voicemail. But so for me, usually this time of night is when the rest of you are asleep. So my phone is pretty quiet this time of night. I don't get bothered. Matter of fact, I have it sitting right here in the studio. Very rarely does it ring during the show. But this is a pretty interesting study that has come out. Of course, this was over at ubergizmo.com. Hey, moving on here. Doc Searles has a good article about keeping North Carolina broadband market free. We've talked about this in the past on how municipalities have been trying to put in broadband into local communities to really usurp the competition like Time Warner and Comcast. And they've been very successful in being able to put in very high-speed internet at great prices. Some communities have 100 megs right to the door, and they're paying, 100 meg connection. They're paying less than $100 a month for that. They're getting TV, they're getting mobile, they're getting all the services, and it's these communities are absolutely loving it. But the cable industry and the TV folks have been just fighting tooth and nail. So there's a map that has been put together that it's called the Community Broadband Preemption Map, and it's from the Community Broadband's network. And it's over at MUNI, MUNI, networks.org, that shows which states are currently basically allowed to do this without barrier. California, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Arizona, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Kansas, South Dakota, North Dakota, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia, Mississippi, Georgia, North Carolina. It looks like all of the eastern, like Maine and New York and Connecticut and Massachusetts, but all those have no barriers. But Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, and Nebraska, there is an outright ban. There is no way that a municipality can install their own network. There is de facto bans in Nevada, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. So in other words, there is it kind of, there's very hard to get through. And then there's various rules in Washington State, Utah, Colorado, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Alabama, Tennessee, South Carolina, and Florida. There's a variety of rules, so and depending on the community. But the folks that they're making a big push right now in North Carolina because there's been so many communities in North Carolina bring in municipality broadband. So if you live in North Carolina or have family in North Carolina, what I really want you to do is urge your friends, relatives, people that you know to call the governor. His name is Governor Perdue at 800-662-7952. Send her emails and basically tell them to veto the new bill that's basically being pushed through the legislature there to keep North Carolina from turning pink or red on the map that is basically in this article from Doc Searles. So, I'd like to hear from our listeners from North Carolina, and are you guys up to speed on this? And what are you hearing on the ground there? What's being reported in the news? And so here's what's at stake, and this is what we all need to be aware of throughout the entire country, is muni networks are providing locally based broadband infrastructure that leave cable and telco ISPs in the dust. For example, Chattanooga, Tennessee, city-owned EPB fiber optic service now advertises 1,000 megabits per second. Wilson, North Carolina is hoping to greenlight community network, which offers pay TV, phone service, and as much as 100 megs to subscribers. The typical package starts at 20 megs per second, and along with other North Carolina cities that followed suit, launching their own networks. In comparison, Time Warner Roadrunner they only have 15 megs is the fastest speed that they're offering. And so these cable providers are fighting hands. They're going to war to stop municipalities from installing broadband. Now, we've talked about this several times over the past 5 years on this show. But I want to show you a graphic. And those of you that are watching, this really lays it out. And this shows you how critical this particular issue is. And this is what really is at stake. Let me scroll down here to the bottom of this. I don't know if this thing will blow up or not. It won't.
North Carolina.
So if you look here, here's in the bottom portion of this graphic where the white and dark green and blue is where Time Warner Cable, AT&T, CenturyLink, which are all cable providers. This is the service levels that they offer, okay? And they're all down here in this area for download speed. Here's what the providers in the municipalities are providing, all the way up to, again, 110 megs per second at around $90 for that level of service. But as you step down, you can get a whopping 50 megs of download speed, around $60. So that just gives you some comparisons here on where they're seeing speed. Now, if these folks have success in North Carolina, they'll use this as the way to really help push forward their agenda in order to help stop this in other states. So, again, I'll let you guys take a look at this. It'll be in the show notes. Definitely check it out. And then make that call if you live in North Carolina. All right, in a more serious note, the American president of a Costa Rica-based company is now facing 30 years in prison after pleading guilty illegally processing payment for internet poker sites. So if you guys were using PokerStars, Full Tilt Poker, Absolute Poker, they were processing millions and millions of dollars of non-gambling money. And this guy has pled guilty to this. Bradley Franzen, 41, is facing 30 years in prison. And, of course, he's accused of a whole bunch of stuff. But U.S. law prohibits U.S. banks and other financial institutions from knowingly accept payments for online gambling made through credit cards or electronic funds transfers as well. So again, at Full Tilt Poker, Absolute Poker, Poker Stars, and these guys, I think I still saw on a recent poker match, still were sponsoring folks. I guess they're not out of business, but the gambling industry and the feds have really went after these folks. So for first guilty plea on that, they're not going after users yet, but they're definitely going over the owners of these websites. So what's going on with my? It looks like I am not advancing that. Why is that advancing? I must be hitting a button because I'm looking at my lower third, and every time I look at it, it's on the wrong menu item. Hey, iPhone 5 is said to have a curved glass screen. That's the latest rumor coming out of PC World. So we'll see where that goes. But that means it'll have a, kind of like a banana curve to it. So I guess that's a better way of keeping reflections off the glass. I don't know. But Apple reportedly purchased around 300 glass cutting machines to ramp up production ahead of an expected iPhone 5 release later this year. Cannot wait. I'm ready to upgrade or either that or go to a Droid. Hey, big thing is starting to happen, and it drives me crazy. I was over at CNN looking at some of the videos from the devastation in Missouri, and they every time one of those 1 minute or 2 minute clips come on, they play a 30-second ad as a pre-roll, and it gets a little old seeing the same ad 5 times in a row. But New York Times is replacing YouTube is extending plans for ads before videos. So very soon you could be visiting YouTube and be forced to go through a pre-roll before you're able to watch any videos as another way for YouTube to monetize the content. And another thing they're doing is they are actually rolling the video. As soon as you hit the page, the advertisement starts. There's nothing you can really do to stop it. You can leave, or you can try to search around, but they're getting that message in, and I guess they're having pretty good success and a lot less complaints than people used to complain about. And I tell you, to be honest with you, I understand why they're doing it. Being in this business of having media online and delivering it to you, it's getting expensive to deliver the content. And there has to be a return because it costs so much to deliver the media. You have to make a little bit of money. You have to make a little bit over the cost to deliver it to really stay in business. And, YouTube, they obviously have a huge scale. They're paying almost nothing for their bandwidth as compared to a little guy like me who does not have a YouTube scale, whatsoever. Not even, not even in this, time zone. So it cost me so much to deliver this show. So we're trying to figure out, okay, how can we, do this balance of not driving too much advertising into the content where you guys get annoyed, but at the same time, try to figure out how to pay the bills and make money. And this is one of the reasons why that I've continued to push the Insider program and having 2 ads at least on the show. And we may have to go to a 3 ad spot at some point just to be able to, keep this balance to the point where Todd can keep the lights on and keep bringing you content while at the same time being able to afford to deliver it. So I understand YouTube's issue on wanting to do pre-rolls. I know it's annoying. It annoys me. So if it annoys me, it's going to annoy you. But, I guess the thing is, what's the alternative? Where I come in and say, okay, I need $5 a month from 10,000 viewers in order to really make this thing run on autopilot, to ramp up the scale, or can we do, whatever it may be. So that's a challenge that we're up against, and what YouTube's up against as well. So, it's something we're going to deal with. And as time goes on, the price of delivering the media continues to go down. That's the only thankful thing. We haven't seen a big decrease this year. It's stayed pretty steady over the last 12 to 14 months, but I'm hoping that it's, the pricing continues to drive down. What the companies are trying to do now, the CDNs and so forth, they're trying to bring extra value. They're saying, okay, hey, we're bringing you all this extra services. And that's how they're trying to make their money now, because they know that the margins are so tight on actually delivering the content even on their side. So anyway, don't worry. There's not going to be pre-rolls in front of this stuff anytime soon, but it's something that is definitely an issue. Hey, over on PC World, there's a good article and this is something I want you guys to give me some feedback on. And I know that I have really laid the law down here. I've got 2 kids that are allowed to be on Facebook. When they are on Facebook, the computer has to be facing an adult. They can't be basically hiding behind the screen and have the back to the screen to us. But over the weekend, CEO Mark Zuckerberg made comments suggesting that he wants younger kids to be able to use the social networking site. And he says he feels that the internet law should be changed. And he understands he wants to protect the privacy of children under the age of 13. But they really think that this law is starting to get in the way of companies' goals. And, I'll be honest with you. I am not so sure. My 7-year-old, I am very careful about what he accesses to. I have parental control turned on his computer. Every site that gets added to the allowed list gets reviewed by dad or mom. And, there is this, it's not a big list. It's a limited list of stuff that he can go to. The 13 and soon to be 15-year-old, I allow a little more leniency, even though we still have some parental control turned on those. Matter of fact, my daughter was complaining last night. I had to approve a site that she said it was blocked, and I agreed with her. It didn't need to be blocked. But I really don't think that kids 13-year-old and younger, well, I don't know. The kids are mature at different rates, but my 7-year-old is definitely not going to be on Facebook. I have an account there for him. There is a placeholder for him where his stuff is secured, but there's nothing added to it. But I set that up in, knowing that he'll want to have his own name on there someday. So I don't know. What do you guys think? What are these useful alternatives? Where should kids go? And do you think Facebook should be allowed for kids who are 13 and under? And what is that, what is that age bracket that we should, be allowing them to get in there? What do you guys think? Is 13 really the age? Okay, let's talk about Apple responding to the load sys. These are the folks who sent out the patent, basically threat letters to Apple app developers. And basically Apple said, hey, back off because we've got a license from you. The way our license reads, it's, that covers our developers. And the folks over at Lodsys have not responded yet. So we'll see where this goes with them and whether or not they make a response to Apple on whether or not they're going to back down. But Apple has basically said, hey, back off. And they sent the letter. It seems like to me it could have been a little stronger. But I guess it is what it is. And I'll have a link to it in the show notes for you. Hey, did you know that last year the RIAA, the top 2 executives, made $4.8 million? I wonder how many musicians that could have funded. So RIAA President Kerry Sherman made $3.2 million. In 2009, he's the highest paid, and the highest non-CEO staffer, who's federally registered lobbyist, made, how much did he make? $1.6 million. So anyway, the RIAA is spending some of that settlement money and money they get from the studios, but they're definitely not providing a lot of money back to artists. But yeah, RIAA 2 top execs made $4.8 million. So what do you guys think of that? Hey, over on Read Write Cloud, and let me actually get this queued up here for you. You guys notice I switched cameras to you tonight. I put a different camera on. So you guys wouldn't be so bored always looking at the main in-front camera. The war on sharing, there's a great infographic over on readwriteweb.com. And here is basically the graphic. And I'm going to blow this, see if I can blow this up. Did it load and let me... Oh, how come it didn't do that? Did Java die or something? Huh. All right, let's click on this larger image. There we go. If you guys look at this, and and it's kind of interesting what they have done here. This is a graphic of the attacks that have been made on a variety of different websites, talking about attacks on Loki Torrent, on Usenet, on Mininova, on Kiro, on Torrent Spy, on Napster, and MB3.com, and all these a variety of websites. So the attacks on compact discs, VHS videos, floppy disks, the Pirate Bay. It's just all these different fronts in which the RIAA and music industry have spent millions of dollars attacking to essentially try to prevent their industry from going down the drains. And, what the gist of this article is that the war that the records labels are bringing essentially to, let me switch this back, is switching to the war that the record labels are waging to protect copyrighted music is no longer focused on services that explicitly allow you to share music. The RIAA is broadening its scope, and they're going after sites such as Box.net and some of these file where you can actually put files up in the cloud and share those files. And so they're going after them. So any place where media can be stored, anything like that, the RIAA has lost their minds and are trying to get these businesses killed. The white paper that's been produced on this is pretty eye-opening, and it's, again, linked in this article on readwriteweb.com, and I'll have this for you to review. But we all know that this war that they're taking is not new, but it's going to show you to what lengths they're going to pursue lawsuits against consumers and, continuing to alienate those that buy products and services from them. There was a huge. I think I've got it somewhere later here in the show tonight. And actually, I'm probably running a little behind on my content. But there was some huge number of new BitTorrent, like 25,000 new lawsuits that were released this week. We'll talk about that here in a few minutes when I get to it. But it's just the battle continues. Hey, smart TVs, I'm pretty excited about where things are going with Samsung, with Roku, with Boxy, with IPTV built into your television sets. Samsung apps for TV have reached the 5 millionth download milestone, and that is huge. Do want to let you guys know I did go ahead and break down and bought the Logitech Google TV and for $179 via Amazon, and I hope it to be here in a couple of days. But Samsung Smart TV that they introduced at CES and some of the stuff that they've had has had huge impact. And so I'd like to hear from any of you that have a Samsung IPTV and, what are you guys using it for? And I swear, how is that switching? Is every time I'm switching let me try something here, folks. Okay, we'll come back to it. It did. That's what's going on. The thing is advancing. I think I know what's happening here. Hang on. All right, that shouldn't advance anymore. Every time I change screens, the lower third's advancing. So I made a couple of setting changes. But anyway, the Samsung stuff is exploding, and of course LG and everyone else too. So what are you guys doing with your smart TVs? How are you using them? Love to hear feedback from you. If you've got a Droid, Google's not going to let you rent movies if you root your device. So if you root your Android device, they're going to basically not allow you to rent movies because they're afraid, of course, that you're going to essentially bypass DRM. And so you're not going to be able to rent movies. That's something new that has just been announced. So be aware of that if you root your Android, okay? Over on digitaltrends.com, and I read this, I saw this article. First time I saw it says new Groupon clone launch called markdown.com. And I went over and I read this and I kind of surprised because this is a website that's been launched by Glenn Beck. And some people like Glenn Beck, some people hate Glenn Beck, and I guess it all depends on which side of the fence you are politically. But Digital Trends, which is a tech site, goes into the review, and this is something I thought was pretty eye-opening. When you're a tech site and you are writing tech articles and you're doing reviews on different types of, tech content, and, you're doing this type of stuff, really, you should not really try to let your biases, your political biases be seen. You should try to leave that, for different discussions. But when I read through this Digital Trends article, it was just so glaring to me, the overwhelming how snide the review of the article was. Now, I'm not going to even try to comprehend what Glenn Beck is trying to do with this website. And they automatically said it was a pyramid scheme, and it may be. But it really, when I read this, it just smelled to me like this guy could not leave his politics on the shelf when he was writing this review. It's one thing to go in and say, hey, this thing smells a little funny because of this, this, and this. But it just goes on to this whole, I don't know. I'll let you guys read it. Maybe I read too much into it. So I don't care, one way or the other, if you're a fan or not. It doesn't matter to me. This could be launched by Oprah. It could be launched by, any of the different talking heads that are on TV. And, the main thing but the whole write-up on this, the whole review on this thing smelled so politically slanted. It actually kind of made me think a little bit, boy, can I trust Digital Trends from trying not to be political in their commentary? This is a tech site. So I guess I'm not so much worried about the article. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that, is there room for this in tech commentary? Is there really room for this? I don't think there is. I try to be real careful here to not get political, and I try to, show both sides of things when I can. I don't know. Love to hear your guys' feedback on that. geeknews@gmail.com. And I swear, what is going on with my title thing tonight? It's like, it's got a mind of its own. It's like switching. I'm not touching anything. What is it doing? Yeah. And for those of you that are listening, you're like, what is going on? And what it is, it's like the lower third is just advancing. I have no idea why. I got an idea. Let's take it off. New report come out by the FCC. The United States still hasn't gotten its act together on broadband deployment, and the cable industry hates this report. But the FCC finally did say that broadband is defined as 4 gigs or more. 4 megs or more on your downlink speed. So that's a big change. And this was after their original benchmark of 200 kilobits per second. So it's nice to see that they're upgrading this to 4 megs as being reasonable broadband, which makes sense. They've, of course, updated the national broadband map as well. So I have this link up in the show notes for you to check out. But good write-up, good read. Probably take a good 10 or 15 minutes to go through all the information. So I have that linked up there for you in the show notes. Doc Searles has another article talking about why are websites not linking to sources. And I see this all the time. I go to a site and I read an article. I say, that's pretty good, but did they get that? Was that their original article? And I'll go to the bottom of the website and I'll try to find a link to the original source, and there's not one there. And they're seeing a lot of major companies are doing this. Huffington Post very rarely links to original stories, although CBS News does. So he was going through and looking at the compare and contrast between the major media sites and some others. But I'm starting to see now more bloggers abuse the not linking to source material than I do on major sites. Even the New York Times is linking out to articles that they get their information from. Hey, over on Engadget, T-Mobile launches new individual family plans right on schedule. Of course, it's probably in line to try to get their pricing closer to AT&T. Talk, text, and data. 2 gigs of high-speed data, $79.99 a month. Talk, text, and data, and 10 gigs of high speed, $119. Talk, text, and data, 5 gigs of high speed for $89. Talk, text, and data, 200 megs of high speed for $69. And I don't know how much the additional family plans, but they have also did some updates saying that their lowest monthly smartphone plan price, which it starts at $79, also has an unlimited with a star beside it. And the star says includes 2 gigs at full speed, reduced speeds for reminder of the bill cycle. So while you're getting unlimited data, they're going to slow you down if you use more than 2 gigs. And that was just added to their pricing. So it comes with this new pricing, comes with some caveats from T-Mobile. So they're still cheaper overall than the rest of the plans. I just wonder what's going to happen when AT&T does the merge with them. What's going to happen to their pricing plan? New service being introduced is called BillGuard. BillGuard will track hidden fees and billing errors on credit cards. They look at lots of credit card billing to kind of come up with trends, and they report to you when they see a billing that's almost the same as yours. So this is a pretty cool service that's being introduced. So this was a startup battlefield presentation done by the folks at TechCrunch Disrupt. So this is, of course, over on the TechCrunch website. So I have this link up for you in the show notes. Also, Twitter has added a new feature, and this is another blindside to third-party developers. Twitter's announced to be sending email notifications to users when they retweeted by someone they follow or when someone favorites one of their tweets. This is turned off by default. You can turn this on within your settings panel. So if you want to be emailed when someone retweets something that you post or when someone favorites one of your articles, you can change the settings within Twitter. And, of course, the developers are upset because some folks had automatically built services for that. And, of course, this wasn't announced in their API as well. If you've used Google Chrome, you'll know that Google Chrome's getting updated like every week. It's on version 11 now. And actually, Firefox, believe it or not, asked me to update to version 5 tonight, the 5 beta. So this is happening quick. We're going to be, it's a revolving door to version numbers on Chrome. So the latest version of Chrome is adding HTML5 speech input and an updated icon. So that was the difference between the previous version of Chrome and the new version of Chrome. So yeah, they're changing version numbers. I guess what happens when they get to version 99? Are people even going to care anymore? There's also a good study out that's saying where Americans are spending more money with Amazon. And I'm not familiar with Amazon Prime. Does anybody that's in the audience have this service? Amazon Prime is available. And it's basically that he pays a flat fee and they get anything to order from the online merchant within 48 hours. You can't get nothing to Hawaii normally in 48 hours. But in a recent survey of smartphone users, nearly 79% of respondents use their smartphone for shopping, and 3 out of 4 smartphone users made purchases either in a store or online using their phones. And apparently 7 out of 10 smartphone users turn to their phones while shopping in a store to find a better price. But the average consumer right now is spending about average Amazon customer is spending about $245 every year across all of its sites. I spend a lot more than that at Amazon on a yearly basis. I bet you my yearly bill with Amazon is a couple $1,000. Of course, using Amazon Web Services, which doesn't count for my business stuff, costs a lot more than that. Next article up is the Foxconn explosion that happened a couple of days ago just may cause iPad 2 shortages. They're expecting less than a 500,000 unit decline, so that's pretty big. And another analysis thinks that Apple could lose up to 2.8 million units. So if you want an iPad 2 anytime soon, you may want to start standing in line to get one right away. Hey, up at the International Space Station, spacewalkers have completed a marathon second spacewalk. They spent over 8 hours on the space station carrying out several tasks, including dealing with that bulky covers on the station joint. And so they were out for a while. And they lost a bolt a couple days ago. But anyway, they've made great progress. A Soyuz left the International Space Station and actually took pictures of the with the shuttle dock. This is the first time ever that an external source that has been close to space station has been able to take pictures of the space shuttle docked at ISS. So those pictures are coming down. Endeavor's been cleared for re-entry, so they've got a clean bill of health for it to come back to Earth. Got a couple more things here as well. That Soyuz capsule that took those pictures of the International Space Station, it lands safely with the 3 of the space station crew members. So the International Space Station is down to 3 permanent residents again. There are going to be a couple of weeks. There'll be some more folks that'll be delivered. And then I got some cool videos or some cool images of Mercury and of Cassini and Titan that have been provided by satellites in orbit around those 2 bodies. So I have those all up the show notes for you to review. Hey, over on Torrent Freak, ICE has seized more domains. So DVDcollectionsale.com, DVDcollections.com, DVDsetsonline.com, MyGolfAccessory.com, overbestball.com. All these sites have been seized by ICE. And the administrators saying, hey, we'll be back. So, but ICE has captured a couple of more domain names, seized a couple more. The Hurt Locker makers have been basically going on a rampage here. They filed 24,583 BitTorrent users for downloading Hurt Locker. So this is big. Another 24,000. The grand total is 24,583. So they went after 10K users of Comcast, 5K of Verizon, 2,600 of Charter, Time Warner 1,700. And so, if you downloaded Hurt Locker via BitTorrent, stand by. You're probably going to get a letter from these folks because they went after a huge number of people. All right, next article up is some quick news here and some quick tips. Firefox has added on a movie download tab. Basically, this is a plugin. If you don't like the tab being separate out in another portion of your screen, they actually put the download tab right in the right on the browser, so you don't have to go searching for it somewhere on your desktop. So that's a pretty cool plugin. Windows 8 is supposedly going to be debuting next week, and they're going to be showing off Windows 8 on a tablet, potentially running on an ARM processor. So we'll see where this goes. But one thing that's been interesting is that they've been using the term tablet and slate as separate devices. So I'm kind of curious to see where this goes for Windows 8. If you're looking for a micro video blogging service for iPhone users, you're going to want to check out Vidi. And it's over at, you can actually find the app on the iTunes store. So Vidi is a live streaming movie studio iPhone app that allows you to create 15-second videos complete with background music and special effects. So only 15 seconds, kind of short, but at least you have the ability to edit and play around with this. So kind of cool. Hey, a couple of articles are on Geek News Central that I want to have you pay attention to. Of course, I want you to check out the latest edition of Robot Underpants. And a second content that was put together by Alan is premium content coming to Boxy in a recent survey that they've been asking. So they've been really asking, how much would you pay for full access to a premium channel like HBO or Showtime? How much would I pay on a monthly basis? This year, the pricing is from $4.99 to $19.99. If I could get HBO or Showtime on my Boxy box for $4.99, sign me up. If I could get NFL games on a pay-per-view basis, how much would you pay for that? Being that I don't have cable anymore, I might be willing to pay $4 or $5 for a game. Definitely cheaper than paying my cable bill for one-offs like this. So what would you guys pay for one-offs from the folks at Boxy if you were able to pick up an NFL game or actually get HBO or Showtime? What would you get? And we'd love to hear feedback. Call the voicemail hotline 619-342-7365. If you're an Evernote user or do any development, they've got a contest going on right now. They're giving away $100,000 in prizes, and you can get in on the action by sending in your submission between July 15th, up until July 15th. So again, they're giving away a huge bunch of cash over there at Evernote. Have a link up in the show notes for you to check that out. Okay, let me go ahead here, and I got a last couple of articles before I get into emails and a voicemail call that came in. And let me look what else I've got left. Hey, if any of you have had family members that have suffered from Parkinson's disease, you'll know that it's pretty devastating. And scientists think that the root cause of Parkinson's may be tied to a stomach virus, which gets processed different ways. And largely, this virus, more than half the people in the world actually have traces of this virus in their bodies. But they've been doing some study here, and they've been finding that this particular virus is causing a high prevalence of Parkinson's disease in mice. So we may be in a stage here where they might be able to find something to start treating Parkinson's. We'll see. Time will tell. Hey, Google has done an update for Chrome OS, and if you've got a CR48, you can upgrade now. The new OS version 12.433.4H brings bug fixes, Flash, and a file manager context menu, and some spiffy new icons and appetizers to the browser-based UI. So definitely check this out. They've got the folks over at Engadget have some good images for us to check out, and I'll have this, of course, up in the show notes for you to look at. But I can't wait to. I'm definitely going to order one of those Chrome operating systems laptops, just for nothing else, so we can talk about it here on the show and potentially in a new show that I'm launching. So domain is secured, and we may be bringing you the Chrome show. So just let you know on that. So would you guys like for me to do the Chrome show? Little secret there. So considering it, maybe it'll be a new show that I'll actually bring to you. All right, kind of on the weird side, and those of you who live in California, did you know the Supreme Court just ruled that they are going to be forced to release 30,000 prisoners because of overcrowding? Wow. Supreme Court ordered today that California will reduce its prisons population by at least 30,000. And it doesn't say how long they have to do it, but they have to do it. Isn't that insane? You do the crime, you may not have to do the time if you live in the state of California. Also, check this out. TSA was ordered to monitor prom security in Santa Fe. If your kid went to a Santa Fe high school prom, TSA was on hand to do searches of kids going to the prom. Since when does there need to be security at a prom? I'm like, what? Are they checking for alcohol, or are they checking for weapons at a prom? What have we come to, folks? What have we come to? Twitter has acquired TweetDeck for over $40 million. That rumor's been put to bed. That is a done deal. So if you are a TweetDeck user, Twitter now owns that app. Now, I have to admit, when I was in Texas, I turned on HBO one night, and Lady Gaga was doing this big show on HBO. I'm not necessarily a Lady Gaga fan, but there was nothing else on TV, so I left it on for about 20 minutes, and I think she changed outfits 3 times and was singing all kinds of songs that I've never heard before. And I know she has a huge following, but today, apparently, the rock bottom price of 99 cents was attached to a new Lady Gaga album, and it destroyed Amazon's servers. They took them out. So they weren't able to actually, they had made the purchase and they couldn't get them downloaded because it overloaded them. So it does say if you make something cheap enough, people will buy it, even if it's good or not good. And I'm not saying that her music isn't good, because I know she's got some good music, and she's obviously a very talented artiste. And but can you imagine bringing Amazon servers down? That takes a lot. And for those of you Sony fans, Sony lost $171 million due to the PlayStation Network downtime, and the hits keep on coming on that. All right, I got one voicemail for you, and this actually came in from during the last show, and I will play that. And it's a little quiet, so I may have to crank the volume up. This is from one of our longtime listeners of the show, and so hopefully I can get enough volume out of this to be able to hear it. If I can't, we'll stop it. But let's see how it sounds here.
Hello, Todd. It's Hamid, and I just wanted to say I was listening to this show, and it was kind of funny, how you were saying stuff about when you get to the hotel about the water and how you have to use a bottle of water to shower.
Right.
And it's kind of funny to hear you laugh that hard. I've never heard you laugh really hard. That was pretty interesting. I want to comment on the thing about the streaming people are going to be treated, like if you stream something, they're going to be treated like part of a mafia, and then I forgot what the other thing was with the copyright thing, okay, I understand the whole copyright thing, but come on now, man. I think that's a little bit too over the top. Part of the mafia? Like, seriously? Like a mafia? And, it just seems a bit over the top, and then plus with the comments, plus with what you were saying, this is the Fed, I guess. And then along with that, I guess it was on Friday's show, you were saying the thing about the RIAA, how they're going to buy new furniture and whatever with the money they've been getting from that. Like, seriously?
That was joking.
See, that's the part that kind of pisses me off about the whole thing about the RIAA. Like, really? Like, their purpose is supposedly be representing the singers, isn't it? Like, you think that most of the money should go to the artists. If not, then what's their point? Are they even existing anymore? And, and then one also has to really wonder, do these artists really even care themselves? Because it's funny, they always hear the RIAA complaining, but yet you never hear the artists complaining. Isn't that weird? Doesn't that make you go, All right, so that's my comment for the show, and I just want to ask you, because I've been looking for stuff on eBay, how is PayPal? Are they still kind of weird? Because I had been thinking about using them, but then some people are saying stuff about how you could get tracking cookies and from PayPal and whatever, and so I kind of feared there might be some security issues over there, and I didn't really trust them, but I forget, in one of the tech morning shows, you said something about that Microsoft's going to use them, so if you could let me know how they've improved, if they've learned their lesson, how are they now? Can you trust them now? Are they any better than they used to be? Thanks a lot, Todd. Talk to you later. It's Hamid, by the way. Bye-bye.
Hey, Hamid, thanks for calling, and, as far as PayPal goes, we process literally thousands of dollars worth of transactions through them, actually tens of thousands of dollars in transactions through them every month. That PayPal has its issues, but we literally, at least at Raw Voice, we move a lot of transactions through PayPal. Our new commerce system doesn't use PayPal specifically. We're going to a different billing system. But they've served us pretty well, and I use PayPal to pay all the writers here at Geek News Central and make a lot of purchases online. So I use PayPal quite a bit. It's been pretty good. No complaints on my end. The transactions go through. I've never had an issue if I need a refund or something like that. So far, so good. As far as your other comments go, I think as far as the RIAA buying furniture for their executives and balloon rides, that was kind of a tongue-in-cheek type thing. It was a little bit of a joke. So no, I don't think they were doing that, but it makes you wonder where they spend their money. And it's true. It makes you wonder if the artists complain about not getting royalty payments from them on these big settlement deals like that. But thanks for calling in. And of course, feel free to call back anytime. Of course, the voicemail hotline is 619-342-7365. Got a couple of emails here real quick. Trucker Tom sent me one about the paralyzed man who was able to stand and step after a spine treatment. This is remarkable. And for someone, you guys know I suffered a serious injury in 2004. Was hurt very, very badly and really came within, well, in all purposes, as a doc said, I'm a 3%er. 97% of the people that suffered my energy would be paralyzed, and I was lucky to be a 3%er that wasn't. And so I kind of pay attention to this kind of stuff. And this paralyzed man who was able to step after a spine treatment is completely remarkable. I saw it all over the news. If you haven't seen it, you got to check it out. I have a link up in the show notes. Thanks for that, Trucker Tom. I do appreciate it. Also got an email here from Georgia. He says, hey, Todd, appreciate the great job you're doing in this show. I've been a loyal listener for a few years now. Usually I listen to your show on my iPhone, but I recently purchased the Boxy Box and have seen the audio version of the show there and not the video. I'd like to know if the video version of the show is somewhere on the Boxy, and if yes, would you please instruct on how to get to it? Kind regards, George. Hey, George, make sure, again, load either the Tech Podcast channel or Blueberry channel. Look for the video section. Go to Tech News or on the tech shows on Blueberry. I'm in there. Don't worry. You'll find me. Just for the Geek News Central logo. That'd be the best place to find me on the Boxy. Got an email here from Lamar. He said, Todd, I'm a Mac user who switched 6 years ago. When I was a Windows user, I don't recall HP, Dell, or even Microsoft extending assistance with actually removing malware or viruses. Not sure if you ever have. No, I've had some stuff come on mine, and I've had to clean it out myself. He says, either way, I never expected any of them to cover me for being irresponsible. So I don't expect Apple to either. And Lamar, and of course he said it from his iPhone 4. So we want to thank Lamar for his comments. Hey folks, that's going to wrap us up. We want to thank everyone for hanging out with us. Got you out of here on time again, and hope you liked the show. Spent probably a little too long in the first couple of articles, but as always, this is a work in progress, and we are, what are we at now? We're at show number 673, so we're on the march to 700. I'm going to have some sort of a promotion starting next show, so tune in and we'll have some sort of promotion. You'll have to listen to win, though. But thanks for hanging out with me here today. geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com. Voicemail hotline is 619-342-7365, 619-342-7365. We'll be back live Thursday night with of course, we're going to bounce that right into a release of the show Friday morning. And, of course, we'll put this show in about a 24-hour replay starting here in about an hour. But I want to thank all of you for staying subscribed and being subscribed, and, of course, sharing the show with your friends, family members, people that you know. And, of course, from the Geek here at Geek News Central, it's been my pleasure. We'll see you next time. Everyone take care. And aloha.